Namaste and a very warm welcome to the eSIP follow-up reunion on Module 1 of the Student Induction Program, where the content related to the universal human values is taken up for discussion. And we have with us our resource person, Arjun Asthana. Arjun, welcome to you as well. And Priya ji is also here with us, and Parikshit Bhaiya, as usual, is taking care of all the technical aspects as well as interacting with all during this follow-up session. So I welcome all the participants, our students, and some of our faculty members and mentors alike to this follow-up session. So namaste Arjun and namaste to all.
Namaste Didi.
Namaste. So how's been while maybe the students have been taking a lot of interest in what was discussed on the last turn, isn't it, Arjun? So maybe we'll be able to hear.
Yes. Manisha Didi, actually many students are in the student workshops.
I know, I could see
I just yesterday I entered the workshop, so I could see that
yes.
all the students.
I saw even Jamshila is there, and I could see
the one who used to speak very I forgot her name. She's also there from Royal College.
Yeah. So I can see Dr. Sushmita Banerjee. Namaste, Sushmita ji.
नमस्ते
जी.
जी नमस्ते। हमने क्यों कोर्स किया है, सो और अभी कॉलेज में भी स्टार्ट हो गया न्यू बैचेस, दे आर आल्सो हैविंग वैल्यूज एंड एथिक्स, तो हम उसको भी पढ़ा रहे हैं। ये सब हम सेल्फ एक्सप्लोरेशन भी कर रहे हैं और सबके साथ शेयर भी कर रहे हैं ये नॉलेज। लेकिन अभी हम वॉलंटियर नहीं बन पा रहे। मेरे पेरेंट्स है, पापा 83 एज है इयर्स और मम्मी भी 76 इयर्स है, और मेरा हस्बैंड का भी हीमोग्लोबिन बहुत कम हो गया 5.5, तो अभी इसलिए हम वॉलंटियर नहीं कर पा रहे। लेकिन बाकी सब कुछ हम कर रहे हैं, हम शेयर कर रहे हैं स्टूडेंट के साथ, सबके साथ, और हम ये चाह रहे हैं कि ये चीज बहुत ज्यादा दूर दूर तक फैल जाए और सबके अंदर में इस तरह के एक समझ आए कि वो अपना सेल्फ के बारे में सोचे और सबको सबके साथ नेचुरल एक्सेप्टेंस में रहे, और फिर वो जैसे भी हो सबको उसका कॉम्पिटेंस की लेवल पर वो उसको उसका इंटेंशन कभी खराब ऐसा नहीं समझे, उनका कॉम्पिटेंस के लेवल पर कॉम्प्लीमेंटरी की तरह वो जिए, एक दूसरे के साथ जो काम है वो तो शेयर करके, जो वो नहीं कर सकते दूसरे का से जो शेयर करके वो करे, तो सबके साथ मिलके हम लोग इसी तरह सोच में रहेंगे तो हमारा सोसाइटी इंप्रूव करेगा।
जी, बहुत अच्छा, वेरी नाइस सुष्मिता जी. So as I think Arjun will be able to take up the interaction with the students more.
Yeah.
Ji, thank you, Sushmita ji.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Nice. So over to you, Arjun. I think the students are waiting to interact with you.
Yeah, if anyone wants to speak, you can speak also. Or
Yes.
if not, we can go ahead either way.
Sure. Sure. So as already proposed by Arjun, so if more of the participants would like to put forward their sharing or interact, they are welcome. Before we go ahead, taking the content forward. Ji.
So last we had discussed about our basic human aspiration, and we had discussed that wherever we are right now, if we're able to see where we want to reach in terms of our basic aspiration, like try to identify and see what our basic aspiration is and what our current state is, then it becomes easier to make a roadmap or to create a place where you can, create a path towards reaching where we want to reach. So that way you can start making effort also in that direction. So if we look at our basic human aspiration, and we see that that is of continuous happiness and prosperity, then we can also see our current state, which is showing that we are not always happy and we're not always feeling prosperous and that kind of a thing, right? So um, we're making so much of effort, and then some of those efforts are leading to something else which we are not really desiring. So because of that, we're ending up either confused or depressed or in different kinds of states, and we also fluctuate between different states. So that's mostly because we're not really clear of the basic aspiration and what kind of effort needs to be put in to reach there. So we can look at these basic questions first, like just to look into ourselves and see if happiness and prosperity are really our basic aspirations or not. That's one. And what is needed to fulfill these basic aspirations? That's the other question. So through this whole exploration, we want to look at all these things in a way which comes from within, as in we're going to ask ourselves certain questions and see what answer comes from within ourselves. So that is called natural acceptance. So everything is in the form of a proposal which you can verify on your own on the basis of your natural acceptance. So it's a kind of dialogue which is right now happening between me and you, but later on it will start happening within yourself when you start asking yourself all these questions and you explore what's happening within. You explore, you look at whatever is happening in the outside situations, and then you also look at what is happening within and see how they're related to each other and how all your choices are coming from different things inside you, which you have inside you. So these are some questions about our aspiration, that do we really want to be happy? And you can answer in the chat. Do you can answer for yourself, like, do you really want to be happy? You can just say yes or no. So the reason we're asking this is to see whether this is the same for everyone, or it is different for different people, or is it something which we're not clear about, or is it something which we're very sure about, right? We want to look at all that. So there are a lot of yeses coming in the chat. What about the second question, that do we want to be prosperous? We might have different ideas of what is happiness, what is prosperity, but according to our idea, whatever it may be right now, do we want to be happy? Do we want to be prosperous? We're not even asking where we are right now. We're asking if this is what we aspire for. And what about the third question? Do we want this to be all the time, or do we want to have fluctuation in this happiness and prosperity? Like, do we want to have sadness sometimes and then happiness sometimes? Or do we want to have happiness all the time? You can, in the chat, you can answer, like, you can say all the time or sometimes, or something.
So we are getting a few answers in the chat. Mainly happy. Then Mohammad Usmanji saying fluctuations.
Okay, so we're asking, just to be clear on this, we're asking whether we aspire to be happy all the time. Like, we're not asking if we are happy all the time. We're just asking if this is what we want, or are we not sure of this as something which we want.
There are few answers which say all the time also. Jagdish ji and Ruby is saying yes.
And if we ask for the people who are saying fluctuations, then if we ask why do you want those fluctuations? Like, if you say that you want to be happy sometimes and you want to be sad sometimes, so then the question comes, why do you want to be sad?
There's an answer by Khairunisa. She's saying mainly happy, mostly connected, and at peace.
Okay, so
Contented.
again, I think we're not clear on it, that
Okay.
the question is that something, it's like, what do we want? It's not where we are right now. Like, we might be happy sometimes, sad sometimes at different points of time, but we're asking, what would the ideal state be? Like, what would we really want for ourselves? Like, would we want to have that fluctuation, or we're experiencing that fluctuation, but ideally we want to be happy all the time?
Shashikanji is saying he wants to be happy all the time. And Rubyji is saying, please share the difference between happiness and prosperity. Maybe
Okay.
Rubyji will do that in a little while, isn't it, Arjun?
Yeah. Right now, you can just go by whatever idea you have of these words, and slowly we'll uncover and see what these words really mean also. But for now, you can just think about it and see if this is something which you feel like you want all the time, or is it something which you want only sometimes? And everyone doesn't have to say all the time. Like, you can say that you want to be sad sometimes. You might want to be sad sometimes, but again, I want to ask, why do you want to be sad then? So it'll be better if, like how Usman is saying, sadness and happiness. So we can ask, why do you want to be sad? What is it that you want to get after that? Do you want to be sad so that you can feel happy after that, or is it for something else? Or what's the reason for why you want to be sad?
Like Shashikanji is saying, we by nature are willing to be happy.
Okay, so we'll just leave it open. Okay, like right now we won't close anything, and we'll ask this set of questions also, which is our current state of being. That, are we happy? Like, you can answer this for right now, and you can also see that, does this happiness, does this prosperity fluctuate from time to time? Is there a continuity of it, or um, that sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are not happy, sometimes we feel prosperous, sometimes we feel deprived? So now we're asking about our current state. We're not asking about where we want to be. That we asked on the left side. Now we're asking where we are right now. So we're asking so that we can see the difference between these two states of how we asked over here, right? Our current state and our basic aspiration. So what we're saying is that our basic aspiration can be very different from our current state. And the more the gap, the more unhappiness will be there, right? The more we feel uncomfortable because we're further away from what we want. So Usman is saying this thing about comeback is greater than the setback. So as in, he wants to be sad so that he can feel that setback as something which became a stepping stone to his comeback or something like that, right? So eventually, what is this comeback making you feel? It's making you feel happy, right? So you can say that you want to be happy all the time, but then these things are helping you to learn certain lessons so that you can be happy. But if you look at your basic aspiration, you can still see that it is to be happy all the time. So now we saw that there's a gap between these two, right? There's a gap between what we want and what we are right now. And we saw that our current state may be quite different from our state where we want to be, or what we are calling that basic aspiration. So Usman is saying it is practically possible only in heaven to be happy all the time. So right now we don't know about heaven, right? Because right now we want to talk about only stuff which we can observe within ourselves right now. So some things like heaven we might not be able to observe. We don't even know if it is there or not, what it is, right? So we want to see what we can see right now, and then make our plan accordingly. So then as we go, we can see whether we can be happy all the time or not. Right now, I just suggest that we don't close our mind to it, because if we close that option, then we have a strong assumption that comes, which says that you cannot be happy all the time. So, and a lot of us may have that assumption also, right? That we cannot be happy all the time. So, right now we won't close it to that. So that's why we have said over here that that these are proposals which we can verify on our own according to our natural acceptance, and then see whether it is true for us, not true for us. And also, while we are observing these things, we can also not assume anything which is said to be true or false, as in not conclude if we are not sure. You can always leave it open if you're not sure. So there's a hand raised also. Anyone wants to share, you can share also.
This is Shashikanta Gosavi, bhaiya.
Okay.
As regards to the happiness, with a lot of explorations and learning to keep ourselves happy and preferably in harmony. Out of the 4 steps, the first step, harmony in body and self, that possibly I am trying to achieve, and hopefully I have got harmony most of the time. But remaining happy and harmonious in family and in society as well as even in nature, I'm not yet sure about that. I'm not yet happy about that. But of course, genuinely speaking, I want happiness at all these 4 levels. As long as prosperity is concerned, yes, now I have understood that whatever I am having, it's more than what I want. I can share it with others. This feeling is there in me. And therefore, I am feeling that, okay, I am prosperous now. But this is after a lot of explorations and learnings and right thinking. This is what I wanted to share.
Yeah. So we are all at different levels of understanding, and we have had different experiences so far, and all that may vary, right? So because of that, certain things may be easier for us to do, and certain things may be harder for us to understand also. So that is okay, because we are all in that process, right? So how we have this this thing here of our current state and moving towards that state which we want to be at.
Yes,
Our
yes.
Current state of different people may be different, and at different times it may be different. Like your current state may be closer to where you want to be now than it was maybe 10 years back, right? Could
Yeah,
be.
yeah, 100%. Sure, sure.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So it's a process which we can keep. It's it doesn't end unless we reach there. So we can keep going there, keep working towards it without feeling like it's something to work towards, just, something which makes us more comfortable in our life. So in that way, as we keep exploring some different ideas, different proposals which are being discussed, something keeps clicking from time to time, right? Something keeps happening inside, and then as we keep exploring, we learn certain things, and then it helps us to reach closer to this goal.
Yeah, yeah.
It's okay. So it's okay if some things are becoming more clear and some things are not clear, as long as we have an open mind towards it and we don't close it. We still have the possibility to keep exploring and reaching closer and closer, right?
Very true. Very true.
But
Thank you, Bhaiya.
if we close our mind to it, then we feel that this is not possible, right? We feel that this is too ideal or this cannot happen, right? So when we start feeling that, then it won't happen also, because we have closed ourselves to it. So in that way, um, even if it is right there, you'll not be able to see it because you're close to it. You're not open to see that way, right?
Ji Bhaiya, ji Bhaiya.
So that's why this thing is very important, that first of all, whatever is said is a proposal. So we don't want to assume it to be true or false, right? We want to just listen to it and then start exploring within ourselves, try to verify it if we can right now. And if we can't verify it on the basis of natural acceptance right now, then we keep it open and keep trying to explore it. Whenever the time comes, suddenly there might be a shift and you might have already gotten it, right? So this is the thing with this. So right now, for many people, it might be like that thing might be there that, it's impossible or it cannot happen. But that is only because we have a strong assumption that it cannot happen, right? And where did that assumption come from? If you see, that assumption might have come from our past conditioning, whatever thoughts we had from before. It could have come from what is, portrayed in the society, maybe. It could have come from maybe the TV. It could have come from maybe a friend, or could have come from parents. It could have come from any source, right? From outside, anywhere. But if we look within, then we'll be able to see the things more clearly, because then it won't be influenced by anything from outside or anything which is happening in our mind, right? So now, if we see that our aspiration is to be happy, and like we want to be happy, we want to be prosperous, we want this in continuity, then we can also look at where our efforts are right now. Is our efforts, like, where are we spending our time? Where is our effort going? Is it more for continuity of happiness and prosperity, or is it for eventually getting money or physical facility out of the efforts? So very easily you can look at this and see whether we are spending more of our efforts to ensure our happiness and prosperity and the continuity of them, or are we spending more of our efforts to earn money and physical things? We might also have the assumption that if we earn money, then we'll be happy, right? So a lot of assumptions also exist within each one of us. So all these assumptions can also be looked at, whether they are actually true or they're not true, or they are partially true, right? We can look at all of these also. But right now in the chat, you can answer about our effort. Where is our effort mostly going? So there's a hand raised. You can speak. Whose hand is?
So most of the time, what is mentioned in the chat is the physical facility that can be seen as an answer. And mostly earning.
Yeah. And this might be for various reasons, but what it seems to be is that we have a strong assumption that when we earn money, then we'll be happy and then everything will be fine, right? That might be a strong assumption. And that's why we might be doing it. But so many of these assumptions which we have made within ourselves may not be true, may be true, may not be true. We might not have really explored them, right? We might have just assumed them to be true. So that's why in this whole workshop, we want to really see and, like explore into our natural acceptance, try to see our assumptions also, whether they are really true or not.
सर जी बट बेसिक थिंग्स के लिए तो अर्निंग जरूरी है ना
Huh, right. But I'm asking ki, like, suppose now you have your basic things. Now, where is your effort going? Is your effort going towards working more to get more physical things, or is it towards making efforts
then
towards this
yes then we
happiness
are
and prosperity?
distracted like we are distracted I agree
Not about
thank you sir
distracted, not about distracted. It's just that we might have a
but we are
strong
taking
assumption
another
that
path yes
Hmm?
yes
right
ji
now,
sir thank
right,
you
right now we just have that assumption, right? That um, we are we are going to get happiness by getting this money. Suppose we earn more money, then we'll get more happiness. This might be an assumption. So, because of that assumption being strongly ingrained inside, we might feel that that is the place to put the maximum effort. Because if we think that happiness comes from there, then we'll put effort over there. If we think happiness comes from somewhere else, we'll put some effort somewhere else, right? What do you think? Would anyone else like to share? Where is the effort going? So, do we have this assumption right now inside us that happiness and prosperity will be ensured when we have enough physical facility? Is this assumption there inside us? Do we assume this to be true? This thing that when we have enough physical facility, that will itself ensure happiness and prosperity. What do you think? You can answer in the chat also. That you can answer for yourself that do you think that happiness and prosperity will be ensured when you have enough physical facility, enough physical things, or enough money also you could say, because money will help you to get physical things and things which are not physical also maybe. So our aspiration, if we look at our aspiration, is that we want to be happy and prosperous continuously. And we may have assumed that we can get that by earning more money so that we can buy more things. But because of this assumption, we might be unhappy because, if this doesn't lead to that, if more physical things don't lead to happiness, then we are stuck because we've put all our efforts for something, and eventually that's not really helping us
Arjun,
to be happy all the time.
in the chat box, one person has written, enough money and peace within the family brings happiness.
Okay.
They feel that physical facility and peace in the family means the relationship, I feel, bring happiness.
Yeah. So here also we're not saying that, the money is not required, but we're just saying that, is the money itself going to lead to our happiness? Because it looks like we are putting more and more effort into earning more money, right? So is earning more money the solution to our happiness? Or once you have a certain amount of money, then you can start looking at the actual things which bring happiness and put in our efforts more into that. And there's also a comment that physical facility accumulation brings unhappiness most often. So this can also be explored, like what it brings. You can also rightly utilize the physical facility which you have, and that might give you happiness also if you are sharing and doing something. I mean, like, we can always look at these things. But if we have assumed that this happiness and prosperity is ensured when we have enough physical facility, then are we making any other efforts for our happiness? Suppose that is true even. Right now, we won't assume it to be true or false. But like, suppose that is true for you at this point of time, then what other efforts are we making for our happiness and prosperity? Like, are we doing anything else apart from this um, earning money kind of a thing? Apart
Yes,
from
sir.
this,
For natural calamities, how we will meet now, like pandemic situation. This is unexpected. And sometimes what happens, accident is there. Sometimes some illness is there. To meet all these natural calamities, we have to have some amount with us so that we can face these situations. Not that we want to have happiness and prosperity, we should make more efforts. I feel like that. Yeah, am I right or wrong?
it's not about right or wrong. It's about looking at it so that we are able to
We don't know.
see it
We
more
don't know,
clearly.
sir, when these situations will arise. We don't know. We cannot predict. But some amount
Yeah,
we should have with us. That's what I
yeah. So
feel
have
like.
it, right? So you should have it. Yeah. I'm not saying don't have it. I'm not saying don't put effort into earning money. I'm just saying that, are we expecting those efforts to lead to happiness? Or are they going to lead to
Mm,
continuous happiness?
no, no.
Okay. So those efforts
Yes.
are going to lead to your basic facilities like your food and shelter and
Yes.
basic
Yes,
living
yes,
things, right?
yes, yes, yes,
But
yes.
apart from that, if we are expecting our physical facility itself to make us happy continuously, then does it work or not? That is a question. That have we assumed that happiness will come from having more physical facility?
भैया नमस्ते।
जी
Namaste.
Sir.
नमस्ते सभी को।
Thank you,
वेरी
sir.
गुड क्वेश्चन भी, बहुत बढ़िया से ये आप प्रस्ताव को रखे हैं भैया। एक्चुअली जो हम लोग फिजिकल आइटम के लिए जो भी माने ले रहे हैं, फिजिकल आइटम हमेशा हम लोग को खुशी नहीं देगा। For the moment, suppose we purchase the television, we can, that is for the only sometimes for as an entertainment, but यहाँ पे हम लोगों को दिल का सुकून नहीं मिलेगा। If we will watch something, suppose in sometimes if we will involve, for an example, if we are going to temple, right, temple में भगवान को प्रणाम करते हैं, हमारे ये बिलीव रखे कि हाँ somebody is there to listen and he will bless us. लेकिन आने के टाइम में यदि कभी भी यदि सपोज कोई भी भूखे आदमी व गरीब आदमी को देखे, यदि हम एक 5 रुपये का भी बिस्किट एक ब्रेड देंगे, तो वो जो हिसाब से आपका वो मैंने चीज को लेगा, तो वो यहाँ पे यदि कंपेयर करेंगे खुद को, एक सेपरेट प्लेजर मिलता है कि चलिए आज कुछ ये होगा, दिस इज द हैप्पीनेस. बट हम लोग जो भी काम कर रहे हैं डे टू डे एक्टिविटी में, जैसे कि हम लोग बात किए हैं कि हम लोग का फर्स्ट स्लाइड में कि हम लोग मैंने व्हाट टू बी और व्हाट टू बिकम. सो यहाँ पे हम लोग ओनली क्या करते हैं ना, एक मंजिल जो बोलते हैं, ओनली प्रोफेशनल मंजिल को ढूंढते हैं, लेकिन जिंदगी का जो खुशी है, जो एस्पिरेशन है, उसको हम लोग ध्यान नहीं देते हैं. तो ओवरऑल यदि एक लाइन में बोलेंगे कि फिजिकल फैसिलिटी विल नॉट गिव द हैप्पीनेस ऑलवेज.
So basically, like, we can understand the role of physical facility. Ki
Yes.
after getting physical facility, what can we expect from the physical facility?
From the
So
physical,
that we know the purpose of the
yes,
physical
yes.
facility. Because we can't say that it is useless also, na? Because we need
No,
it
no,
also
no, no, no,
for
no, no.
our
So we are bike. हम लोग पैदल चल रहे हैं तो 3 किलोमीटर जा रहे थे, आज पैसा हुआ तो सपोज बाइक खरीद रहे हैं. That happiness is coming, but that happiness is not for the, you can say that for the moment to fulfill the requirement. वो है requirement का हिसाब से हम लोग को खुशी मिलता है, लेकिन जो जिंदगी का जो दिल से का सुकून वो नहीं मिलेगा. लेकिन प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो गया, फॉर द मोमेंट प्रॉब्लम
तो
सॉल्व
ये
हो
सब
गया.
देख सकते हैं.
हाँ देख सकते हैं. And you can
हाँ.
realize also.
मतलब everyone can see for themselves also कि what is
सपोज हमारा
what they
घर में
feel about it. Because अभी we don't
कपड़ा
want to
सफा कर.
conclude anything. We just want to keep it open.
Yes, okay, right. Thank you भैया, thank you very much.
Thank you. So to be more clear, we can see that when an animal has a lack of physical facility, it becomes uncomfortable. But when it gets the physical facility, it becomes comfortable. But in our case, why is it that we are not comfortable even though we have enough physical facility? Or in another way, we can ask that, are we able to find out how much physical facility we need? Or is it like we just want more, but we don't know how much we want? And can you also see this, that when humans lack the physical facility, they become unhappy. But once you get the physical facility, you forget about it and start thinking about lots of other things, right? You start thinking about getting some other physical facility or doing something else. So that means the physical facility itself is not leading to your happiness, right? It's something which is making you physically comfortable. But more than that, it doesn't really have a role. Other than your physical comfort, what can it do? A lot of us are also trying to get feelings by having more physical facility. Like, for example, we are trying to get respect out of having a big car or big house. But if you really look at it, does that really get you respect? Or do people around you feel jealous that you have a bigger house? So like this, we can look at some of these things. So physical facility is necessary, but something more is also required, right? What do you think? To be happy, continuously happy and prosperous, physical facility might be like physically being comfortable, having enough to eat, having a mode of transport so that you can go here and there, having a couple of gadgets, all that might be helping to make you feel comfortable physically. But once you have all that, then would that be enough? Or you still feel that you're not happy all the time? Are you able to be happy all the time by having these physical facilities? Or is something more also required for you to be happy? So in the comments, it's there that we still want more.
Even at the YouTube, we are getting some comments as still more, something missing.
Okay. So that is again tied with that assumption that when we have more physical facility, then we'll be happy. So that is something which we will slowly explore. So right now we'll again keep it open. We won't conclude over there. But we're just going to ask these questions and then keep it open. We're not going to say anything that, as because this is something which you can start asking yourself and get the answers from yourself. So these are some questions just to check whether this is just to look at whether it's only about physical facility or is it something else which is leading to more of our unhappiness. Is our unhappiness more due to lack of physical facility or more due to lack of fulfillment in relationship? This is a question.
Okay, Arjun, there's some comment at the on the YouTube. It's saying missing relations.
Okay. Yeah, so this itself shows that, okay, physical facility is important for us to be physically comfortable and all that. But is it enough to be happy or not? When we look at that aspect of things, then we see that there's a lot of unhappiness due to this lack of the right feelings in the relationship, right? Like within the family also, if you feel that you're not very comfortable within the family, even though you have enough physical facility, you still may feel unhappy for other reasons, right? Because there may be a lack of fulfillment in the relationship. So the question here is that is the unhappiness more due to the lack of physical facility or more due to the lack of this fulfillment in the relationship? What is causing more unhappiness?
Well, Arjun, if I read it out from the live chat on YouTube, it says both.
Okay. Yeah, it's possible that it is from both. But here the question is about which one it is more due to. It can be both, but it's more due to which one?
Maybe, we'll request our participants or even students to just unmute and put forward their views.
Yeah. You can always
That'll be more interesting,
unmute.
Aishwarya,
Yeah.
Suresh, if you would like to, or Abdullah, Anu, maybe Aruna Priyaji. Khairunisha ji, please go ahead.
A very good evening to everyone. Thank you so much, sir and ma'am. Bhaiya and Didi, if I can say that. Actually, the physical facility like money and like sir has mentioned, the gadgets, they do bring us happiness. And as one of the participants had said that going to a temple gives them sukoon milta hai. So that is giving them a peace of mind. So along with physical facility, there should be some amount of spirituality inculcated in the individuals. By nature, by tradition, and culture of our land, all of us have the spirituality inculcated in us. Only thing is, we have
Right
to
now,
bring it out, or rather
right now, the
stress
only
it.
question is like more of a yes/no kind of question. That is it more due to is the unhappiness more due to lack of the physical facilities or more due to the lack of fulfillment in the relationship?
It is both, sir. In especially in the middle class families, the lack of physical facility as well as lack of relationship or the fulfillment of the relationship, both play like let us say some 50% kind of a role, or maybe the percentage may be somewhere up and down, the physical facility as well as, because most of the families, they do face financial crisis, and the fulfillment in the relationships also take a beating because of such kind of crisis. The pressure, the stress is a bit more. So it is at the family level. These are some of the problems faced by almost all the families. Uh, Almost all the families. So of course, there are some cases where there is a lot of sacrifice and there is understanding, but at some point of time, there is a stress also. So they all go through this kind of unhappiness, if you can call it unhappiness, that is the stressful situations, which leads to outbursts and so on.
So when you're saying the stressful situations and they're leading to outburst and all that, isn't that
Yes.
because there's a problem in the relationship?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's both the
So,
physical facility as well as the relationships.
so in terms of physical facility, if you're saying they're middle class, then they have enough to eat, enough to all that they have, right?
Yes.
So
They
then
have,
where is the problem over there if they already have that?
the as I said, some amount of spirituality or the contentedness, being contented, that is more important. There could be
Okay,
problems like
so
the
basically,
day-to-day problems will not be the huge ones, but maybe the financial ones like the education or the taking care of some unexpected illnesses. So that might lead to a problem. I'm sorry if I have said anything wrong, but
no,
that is
it's
what I
not
have
wrong.
to
It's
say.
not right or wrong. It's just that we can look at it and see whether it's really because of physical facility or the problems in the relationship. Like when you're mentioning this stress and tension and all that, that is to do
Yes.
with
Illnesses
the
faced.
relationship,
Yes.
and it's also to do with understanding within ourselves,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
And
Very much true, sir.
it's also to do with having the right understanding about how much physical facility is required, not necessarily due to
Exactly.
lack of physical facility, but not having the right understanding about how much physical facility
Yes.
is required for us.
Yes.
So like
Yes, sir.
for example, there could be a family in which there's one person who is always saying that we need to buy this new thing, otherwise we'll have a fight and all that. The relationship also has a problem, and in terms of physical facility
Yes.
also, we need the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and therefore the whole family is unhappy. That could also be a scenario, right? So in that case also,
Yes.
it looks like the problem is the lack of physical facility, but
Mm.
actually the problem is
Mm.
also to do with understanding how much physical facility is required.
Exactly, sir. Sir, can I say something about this understanding part?
Yeah.
Actually, this understanding was not much of a problem long ago when there were joint families. There was someone or the other to whom a person could go pour his or her heart out and get counseled. But nowadays, in this nuclear family scenario, there is no one a child could look forward to or an adult could look forward to. There are
Actually, see,
barely
the
3
thing
or
is,
4%.
yeah, but the thing is that even though there's a difference in the family system now and how it was earlier, it is still
Yes, sir.
equally possible to have this right understanding about how much physical facility is required. And we can also have the right understanding about how to be fulfilled in the relationship. So this understanding,
Exactly, sir.
we always have a scope to work on these things. So even if we are not in a joint family, because it's no point looking at what we don't have right now, but we can definitely look at
Yes,
what we can do right now so that we can be happy, right?
exactly. That is the main reason, or rather the main purpose of this workshop, to bring in the proper understanding at various levels. And
Yeah. And so many
what
things, might have been better before, so many things might be better now. But comparing all
yes.
those doesn't really help us because it doesn't lead
Mm.
to anything, right? It just makes a comparison, and then
Actually, uh,
it makes a
it was
comparison.
not
Then
really
might,
for
yeah,
comparison purpose.
yeah,
But what I wanted to suggest was there should be some kind of counseling at all levels, the school level, the college level, at the college level, all the school level, for the students as well as for the staff members. Everybody is at a lot of pressure. So if the students get counseled, they can come. Each and every child, each and every student has got his or her own story. You could find many students creating problems in the classroom. And when we just investigate a little bit, not exactly investigate, just inquire why, what is the problem, they pour out. They face so many issues back at home, and back at home or in the society or along with their friends. And if that kind of problems are counseled, if they are made to, but through counseling, if they are made to understand, if we bring in that understanding, I somehow feel that a lot of things could be changed, and society would be a better place to share the things with. At least that is my perception, sir. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
yeah. So basically, whatever we might not have or we feel should be done, or these kind of things, right now we can see what our role could be in doing those things and start doing them. That's it, right? We can
Yes, exactly.
make some effort on
Yes, of course.
things
At
which
our
we feel
own
are
small level, we can do it.
small or big level, whichever we feel comfortable to do, whichever we feel like spending time on. Like if we want to spend less time because we feel it is less of a priority for us right now, then we spend less time. And
High priority, sir.
if it's a high
The
priority
students, if
for
they are,
us,
yes,
if it's a high priority for us, then we tend to put more efforts into it. If it's a lower
yes,
priority
yes,
for us, we tend to put less efforts in it, right?
yes.
So that you can decide for
Maybe we
yourself
can start at the
whether,
classroom level.
yeah, definitely. And wherever we are, we can see what we can do, and whatever we're comfortable to do, we can always do. But really,
Yes, sir.
talking about it
Thank
doesn't
you, sir.
help so much because when we say that, these organizations should do this and they should do that, we're not approaching them, we're not contributing in any way, right? So then we're just more or less saying, these all things should be done. But then who's going to do it?
Actually, sir, to quote a few examples from my own past experience, if you would permit me to.
We don't have
Can
time
I
actually
please?
for that, but
Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
May I add something?
sure.
Yeah, I'm Ashok Behra, sir. So good evening to all. So from my past experience, last 6 months, I have joined UHV one. So I want to say that we both husband wife are working. We
Okay.
don't have any lack of physical facility, right? But we used to have most of the time arguments and small due to the preconditioning. I used to get irritated on that small things. But after attending this UHB, we don't have a lack of physical facility. We both are working. I'm also a middle class family. I didn't say that I'm not a middle class family. If a rickshaw puller, if you see also, they are also unsatisfied. They need much more. They need much more. But you'll see that they will never dream that to have a BMW. Might be, but they are very happy with that. Whatever they will eat. But this
this better understanding with your self to other self is most important, sir. Let me give one more example. I have gone to the temple where
I
the
don't
where
know.
the where the where the saint never used to do any job, but they are very happy with the better relationship, better understanding. So the from my point of view, the right understanding is most important thing. And we used to read much of the time newspaper that billionaire, that millionaire have that has broken up 15 years relationship, 17-year relationship breakup. So this said that they are very rich in physical facilities, still they are unhappy. That is right understanding. That's my point of view. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So what we can say about physical facility is that regardless of how much physical facility we have, we may feel that we have enough, and we may feel that we don't have enough also, right? Like it's possible that how you mentioned the rickshaw puller may not have enough physical facility. We might
Yeah,
think like that, but
yeah,
he might think that he has more than enough.
more than enough. Yes.
Similarly,
Yeah,
similarly, the billionaire, how you mentioned also, may feel that he doesn't have enough because he
yeah,
might be comparing with other billionaires and thinking
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah.
the
Sure.
least among them.
Yeah,
So
but
when we
still,
do this kind of a comparison, and when we are not able to see the real role of the physical facility, when the physical facility starts to become used to get respect or get status or get these kind of things, then it leads to a disproportion of how much we need. We are not able to figure out how much we
yes,
need because we
yes,
don't really realize the role of physical
yes.
facility.
Yeah, so I want to add one more thing. Those who wants to feel regarding the physical facility, go to graveyard and sit there for some time and try to understand what is physical facility and what is right understanding. So people can understand that one. What is exactly? I feel so.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
don't have to go to the graveyard. Basically, we're just saying that you can identify how much physical facility would be required for you.
Yeah. I do have one more question, sir, regarding that animal, what you said, and regarding this human, that
Yeah,
whenever
actually,
animal.
right now the time is a little less. We just finished this time, and then next we can take it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So we just have a few minutes left, so we'll just quickly finish what we had planned. Um,
सर जी only one thing I will add here, one sentence only, कि हमें बचपन में बताया जाता है ना कि अपने से नीचे वालों को देखो वो कैसे जी रहे हैं, उनको देखने के बाद आपको अपनी खुशी का महसूस होगा. स्कूल में भी बताया जाता है, कॉलेज में भी बताया जाता है, तो हम
हाँ,
वो भी ध्यान में रख सकते हैं ना सर जी.
एक्चुअली ये सब जो हम
फिजिकल
देख रहे हैं ना
फैसिलिटी.
कि लाइक जो भी बताया गया है, वी आर नॉट trying to refer to any of those things because some of those things may be right, some may not be right. So we are saying that we want to look at everything fresh and not refer to anything which has been told to us from before. Try to verify these proposals on our own from our natural acceptance without referring to any of the things
Yes,
which are beliefs. Like we might have
yes.
many beliefs also, many assumptions, many things which we have been told also. So we don't want to go to any of those things. Some of them may be right, some
Okay,
may be
sir.
wrong, right? Some may be right also.
Thank you,
But
sir.
still, we don't
Thank you,
want to,
sir.
yeah, still we don't want to go to them right now. We just want to ask ourselves without looking at any textbook or without looking at any previous thing, right? So we can just explore this, that where our unhappiness is and why it's happening, and where our effort is going, where our time is being spent. Is more of our time being spent for accumulating physical facility or for fulfillment in the relationship? Like, for example, everyone who is working goes to work for at least 8 to 10 hours a day, right? So 8 to 10 hours a day is being spent for physical facility, and again 8 hours for sleeping. and how much time is really being spent on fulfillment in the relationship. If you look at that, it will become more clear that how much time we are spending on each of these things. And obviously, if we spend more time on trying to get physical facility, then we will get physical facility. So for human beings, physical facility is necessary, but relationship is also necessary, right? We're not saying that you don't need physical things. You need food, you need shelter, you need all these things. But relationship is also necessary. What do you think? You can answer yes or no in the chat.
We are getting yes in the chat.
Okay. So basically, even if we don't look at animals right now, for human beings, when we look, we can see that physical facility is necessary, but it's not adequate for our happiness. You also need something more, right? And that more is not more physical facility. That more, we have assumed that when we have more physical facility, we'll be happier. But that more is not about more physical facility. It's about other things. So this is what we'll discuss next time, that what exactly is that more. So with that, we'll close, I think, now.
Yes, we'll do that. And
Yeah.
nice, even like on YouTube, we had a few interactions. So with this and a lot of discussions over here. So we leave this content yet open for discussion on coming Wednesday. So till then, all can do a lot of self-exploration.
Yeah, till then you can also think about the fact that, I mean, like, what else is necessary? If we look at physical facility and we say that that is not enough for our happiness, then what would be the other things? You can just think about that.
Yes, that will
Like
be
one could be relationship, how we have, one could be relationship. What else? You can think about it and see.
nice. Sanjay ji is saying very good session. And Karunisa ji is also has been quite interactive throughout. So let's keep this content open for discussion. And as Arjun Bhaiya said that what more? So let's think of what more do we require to keep each one of us happy. So with this, we'll say thank you all for being a part of the follow-up session and interacting on a regular basis and putting forward your reflections on the queries and content and self-reflections on many of the aspects. So thank you all and Shubharatri, good night. We'll meet again next Wednesday, and Friday is yet another day when we have a discussion on a follow-up session on module 2 of student induction program, that is physical health and related activities. So with this, thank you, Arjun, and thank you all. Namaste to all. So Bhaiya, I think we
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. We can close the session.
Namaste.
Namaste, everybody.
Namaste. Namaste.
Shashikant Bhaiya, namaste.